These cats are incredibly skilled. They've actually opened a ramen shop in human society and are running a thriving business. To keep cat hair out of the noodles, Bunzo hires a human employee to help. The only requirement? You can't dislike cats, but the human's job isn't serving customers up front. Instead, they work in the back, grooming the cats to keep their fur from shedding too much. Otherwise, it ruins the customers' cat petting experience. As for troublemakers who falsely claim there's cat hair in their ramen and try to leave bad reviews, Bunzo doesn't tolerate it. He just calls out the shop's tough girl, Tiger, who growls, "You got a problem? Say it to me." That's enough to scare the jerk off. Would you want to visit a ramen shop like this? Tamako lost her job and ends up working at this cat-run ramen shop. The interview is simple, just don't hate cats. Her job? Getting paid to pet cats, no front-of-house work. Since this is a cat-themed ramen shop, most customers are cat lovers. Having humans serve would ruin the vibe. But while Tamako's grooming the cats, a troublemaker shows up. After eating, he refuses to pay, claiming there's cat hair in his ramen. Bunzo stays calm. No refunds once the bowl's empty, and the shop warns customers about possible cat hair. But the guy keeps yelling, threatening to call health inspectors to shut the place down. So, they send out Tiger. The moment the guy sees her, he bolts, too scared to act tough. Little does anyone know, once back inside, Tiger whimpers, "That was so scary, Mr. Gray." Tamako has to groom her for ages to cheer her up. By late night, the shop finally closes. Bunzo introduces Tamako to the team. Bunzo is the shop owner. Sabu handles plating and serving. Hana, the charmer, takes care of customers. Gray, the manager, handles payments. Tiger makes the noodles in the kitchen. Tamako introduces herself too. She got the job through a relative's connection. Hana isn't happy about it. The next day, Hana gives Tamako the cold shoulder. Before opening, all the cats come to get groomed, except Hana, who refuses until Bunzo steps in. Once inside, Hana complains, demanding a different brush. That's when Tamako realizes, each cat has a preferred brush. The others never said anything, just quietly endured. During business hours, Tamako cleans the break room, packed with random clutter. No vacuuming allowed, just a brush, making it slow work. At the end of the day, Gray hands her a proper employment contract. Tamako burst into tears. Her last job was a shady company that never gave her one. Not even insurance is provided. When she quit, they gave her endless trouble. But recently, the ramen shop has been booming, and the used dishes pile up like a mountain. There's no way to wash them all. The owner has no choice but to ask Tamako to help out with dishwashing when she has time. Unexpectedly, Hana isn't happy about it. Having a human working in the front would ruin the charm of the cat ramen shop. The owner is stuck too. Hana refuses to help with the dishes, and everyone's exhausted. Luckily, Gray already has a plan. Dress Tamako up as a cat girl to work. But no matter what outfit they try, Hana firmly opposes it. In the end, Tamako has to wear a backstage costume that hides her face. Fortunately, the customers don't mind having a human employee. In fact, they're all jealous of her. Getting to work in such a fun cat ramen shop is a dream come true for cat lovers. At first, Tamako feels shy hearing the customers' comments. But as more and more diners come in, the dirty dishes flood in like a tide. She's too busy to care anymore. She removes her face covering and starts washing dishes at full speed. By closing time, Gray has to remind her to stop. Thanks to her help today, no one has to stay late washing dishes. Afterward, Tamako calls Hana over. Today, she insists on brushing Hana's fur, using Hana's favorite brush. The tsundere cat finally gives in. Truth is, Hana doesn't dislike Tamako. She's just extra protective of the shop, and worries a human might ruin the vibe. But after seeing how hard Tamako works, she slowly starts to accept her. Meanwhile, a creepy man secretly films the ramen shop. The next day, this guy swaggers in, live streaming despite the "no filming" sign on the door. Seeing this, Sabu rushes over, demanding he stop recording. But the guy shamelessly claims he's giving the shop free publicity. The owner steps in, ordering him to leave immediately. The startled blonde tries to end the stream, only to see his viewer count skyrocketing. Now he refuses to turn it off. As Gray runs to the back to get Tiger, Tamako stops him. If Tiger shows up, it might not scare him. It could just make his stream more popular. So Tamako changes into her costume, and politely asks the guy to stop filming and leave. No matter how much he provokes her, she just repeats the same request like a broken record. The viewers start getting bored. Just as the blonde acts up again to keep them hooked, the shop door suddenly opens. A man in a suit says, "Put the phone down, let's talk outside." After escorting the guy out, they hand out discount coupons. to the customers as an apology. Tamako gets praised by everyone. As for the suited man, he's not a police, just a lawyer. Later, Tamako works with Tiger again, and realizes, aside from the machine-made noodles, outside the handmade noodles are personally made by Tiger, but very few people order them. Tamako doesn't think it's because of the price. The real issue is that customers don't know these noodles are made by Tiger. If they use that as a selling point, they'd definitely be a hit. So after work, Tamako stays up late to make a poster. On the third day, she brings it to the shop to promote the noodles. Everyone loves the idea, except Tiger, who is completely flustered. "This is too embarrassing." "No way," Tiger protests. Tamako feels crushed, thinking she overstepped. But Hana disagrees. She knows Tamako just wants to help the shop, so she takes the lead and talks to Tiger. She respects Tiger's feelings, but as a member of the ramen shop, they should do everything they can to boost sales. Tiger finally relents, saying she just wants people to order the noodles because they're delicious, not because of her Tiger identity. Hana is speechless. How will customers know the noodles are good if they don't try them first? After some back and forth, Tiger gives in. Later, Tamako catches up to Hana to thank her, making the usually proud cat blush. When Gray watches her leave with a smirk, Hana teases, "What's with that grin?" Later, during break time, Tamako isn't sleepy, so she plays on her phone. But Tiger says that actually makes it harder to nap, so she pulls Tamako into a warm, fluffy hug instead. Cradled in the big cat's soft arms, Tamako quickly dozes off. Bunzo notices her sleeping with her glasses on and gently removes them, letting her rest longer. When Tamako finally wakes up, it's already sunset. On the third day, the carefully designed poster arrives. Everyone works together to put it up on the seat dividers, so customers see it as soon as they enter. Just as Tamako predicted, the issue wasn't the price. People just didn't know the noodles were special. Now that they see Tiger makes them by hand, orders shoot up. Then Gray notices two hesitant customers. Turns out, the girl is Tiger's biggest fan. She wants to try the special noodles but worries she can't finish them. Gray talks to Bunzo and he agrees to offer half portions. That way, no money or noodles go to waste. With cute cats and unique flavors, the shop gains loyal fans. One orange-haired woman loves the place so much she's always worried the shop isn't charging enough. To help, she recruits a huge, hungry guy to eat there. He doesn't disappoint, ordering multiple servings and polishing off a giant bowl in no time, leaving everyone stunned. Hana assumes they're a couple, but the truth is, the orange-haired woman just picked him off the street because he looked like he could eat. To their surprise, the two unexpectedly find love. The big guy even leaves his contact info for orange hair, telling her not to chat up strangers so casually. Then he orders another bowl of Tiger ramen. Talk about a win-win. Making more money should be a good thing, but lately Tiger hasn't been happy at all. During shedding season, the usually gentle Tiger becomes a completely different cat, her temper turning unusually fierce. She has to fight the urge to scratch herself constantly. Luckily, Tamako helps by grooming her, slowly calming her down. During the grooming session, Tiger shares a secret with Tamako. Hana is actually a long-haired cat. She just trims her fur short to look the way she does now. This revelation shocks Tamako. Thinking about it, she realizes she knows very little about her furry friends. Noticing she's shedding too much, Tiger worries she's taking up Tamako's time from the other cats and quickly leaves. To get to know them better, Tamako starts asking about their pasts while grooming them. The cats are open, sharing their stories one after another. This cat ramen shop started as a humble stall run by a human. The original owner's health declined, and eventually, his cat Bunzo took over the business. At first, the shop owner hesitated about keeping it open, but thanks to Gray's encouragement, the cozy little shop exists today. Sabu, on the other hand, was a stray. One day, while scavenging through the shop's trash, he suggested swapping pork for duck, saying it'd suit the broth better. To his surprise, the owner hired him on the spot. Only Hana refuses to talk about herself. When Tamako brings up her long-haired secret, she storms off, ready to confront Tiger. Sorry about that, Tiger sighs. Tiger is still struggling, so Tamako keeps comforting her. That night, worried about gaining weight from the shop's rich food, Tamako heads next door for a chicken salad after work. There, she spots Gray riding home in a private car. Burning with curiosity, she tells Tiger, who immediately summons Gray for an explanation. That's how Tamako learns the truth. Gray is loaded. He's the general manager of Ramen Red Cat, and even funded the shop himself. Turns out, Gray inherited his owner's fortune, making him richer than most humans. Tamako is stunned, her mind stuck on this revelation even during work. Tiger shares her own story. Born in a zoo to a Siberian tiger and a Bengal tiger, she lived with her parents until their contracts ended. When they returned to their home countries, Tiger, terrified of moving abroad and too shy to charm visitors like them, hid in corners. No zoo wanted an unremarkable tiger, until Gray heard her story and hired her for the ramen shop. Standing on your own is hard, she says, but having a place to belong, that's really something special. Yeah, I think so too, Tamako agrees. Just then, an elderly woman walks in, putting all the cats on edge. It turns out the lady is a bamboo shoot supplier for the ramen shop. She and the previous owner were old friends. This time, she came to deliver goods, and also wanted to taste if the ramen had gotten worse. While waiting for her order, Hannah greets the old lady too, and asks about her black cat's recent condition. Turns out, that black cat is the one who trained the cats not to shed fur. Tamako is very curious, and asks Tiger how the cat was trained not to shed, but Tiger firmly refuses to share the secret. The black cat had warned her before, this method must never be revealed to humans, or else cats worldwide would be forced into no-shed training. When the ramen is served to the old lady, everyone in the shop nervously watches for her reaction. Unexpectedly, after tasting the soup, she sternly calls the owner over. You've worked hard. The previous manager would be happy too. Little do they know, the other customers also want a chance to pet Bunzo. At night, another guest arrives. After trying the ramen, he hands over his business card, saying he has a deal to discuss with the owner. After closing, Bunzo and Gray talk with him. Turns out, he's the big boss of a major ramen chain. He thinks this ramen shop doesn't even need ads, yet still attracts endless customers. It must be thanks to the cat's service. He wants to adopt this ramen shop's methods into his own stores, training an army of cats to dominate the industry. But Gray awkwardly explains, willing worker cats are hard to find. Most cats hate working, and hiring them takes way more time and effort. The cost is much higher than hiring humans. Hearing this, the big boss offers to outright buy this ramen shop and turn it into his flagship store. Let's all profit together. Just as Gray tries to politely decline, Bunzo cuts in. I'm warning you, don't show your face here again. Cats aren't your pawns. The boss snaps. You'll regret this, and storms off with his assistant, ordering her to investigate all of this ramen shop's suppliers. He plans to crush them with money, but the assistant suddenly turns on him. You cat-bullying jerk. I quit. Next day, Tamako starts another round of grooming. While brushing Tiger, she dozes off mid-session. When it's Bunzo's turn, he looks blissful too, only snapping out of it when Tamako says she's done. Seems her brushing skills have improved, but when Hannah gets her turn, she doesn't notice any difference. Tamako quickly explains, she's always used the same method for Hannah, not daring to experiment. If you want something new, maybe try a different brush. Sure enough, Hannah falls asleep too. Later, while grooming Gray, Tamako reveals her secret. She's been studying pet groomer videos every night, memorizing cat bone structures and fur growth patterns. For such a hardworking employee to go unappreciated, your last company was awful. To reward her, Gray gives her cool fabric uniforms and staff t-shirts. Tamako quickly changes into her new outfit to show Tiger. Inspired by her enthusiasm for learning, Bunzo decides to develop a new ramen dish. This also reminds him of the previous owner, a man obsessed only with ramen, spending all his earnings on perfecting his craft. Back then, the owner and Gray were still stray cats. The old shop owner found them when Gray had a high fever. Even though he was broke, he took them to the vet. In the end, he settled the bill by treating the vet to a bowl of ramen. Originally, the old owner planned to give both cats away, but Bunzo ran back alone, refusing to leave no matter what. He even learned to speak human language. Only then did the old owner see his sincerity and let him help run the ramen stall. Later, Bunzo finishes cooking the new dish and asks Tamako to taste it. After one bite, she exclaims how chewy and delicious it is, truly worthy of Tiger's hand-pulled noodles. Finally feeling confident, Bunzo decides to expand the menu. That afternoon, the big, burly guy visits the ramen shop again. Hannah initially thought he was dating Orange Hair's sister, but they're not actually together. Unlike before, today he only orders plain broth ramen. It turns out the big guy is a fighter. He came with a purpose. He's never won a match and is often told he lacks intimidation. So, he wants advice from Tiger on how to appear more threatening. But he never guessed that Tiger is actually quite timid. Still, she agrees to meet him since he praised her handmade noodles. She shares her experience dealing with difficult customers, how she's always terrified, even on the verge of tears, but refuses to back down to protect the shop. Hannah suggests he think about what he wants to protect. Just as he's pondering, orange-haired sister arrives, clearly hinting at who that might be. That evening, the lawyer from before shows up with his assistant Rin, a cat-obsessed attorney, to help take down the live stream video. Hannah is terrified of her because she's a crazy cat lover, willing to do anything for them. After work, Rin calls Tamako over to chat. It turns out she used to work at this ramen shop as a waitress. She'd go overboard with petting and sniffing them, driving everyone crazy until they had to let her go. That's why Tamako, who's indifferent to cats, got hired so easily. Even after being fired, Rin still visits in disguise, not realizing the cats have recognized her all along. They just play along. Unfortunately, the live stream video causes trouble. A girl storms in, demanding to take Hannah away, claiming she's her cat and shouldn't be working here. It turns out Hannah was once a cat with millions of fans, but no matter how earnestly she pleads, Hannah refuses to go back with her. She's seen through those hypocritical humans. They put her on a pedestal, but in reality, they just treat her as a money-making tool. What hurts her the most are the online comments, always saying her owner isn't pretty enough, pushing her to get cosmetic surgeries over and over. It breaks Hannah's heart. I don't want to see her getting surgeries because of me, wrapped in bandages like a mummy. As the mood turns heavy, the lawyer's assistant Rin, disguised as a man, can't stay silent any longer. She declares that Hannah is an independent cat protected by law. Even her owner has no right to restrict her freedom. She immediately takes Hannah's previous owner aside to talk. Later, Hannah apologizes to everyone. Turns out, she talked with her previous owner all night, and now her previous owner understands Hannah's feelings. She won't force her anymore. Tamako finally realizes Hannah cut her fur short to avoid being recognized. Hannah then admits, being a cat idol has its joys, but now I feel having companions by my side is better. The idol world moves fast. New faces will replace me soon enough. On the next morning, Tamako spots a stray kitten on her way to the shop. Unsure what to do, she brings it back, since strays might carry fleas or lice. They isolate the kitten for hygiene reasons, planning to decide what to do once it calms down. Tamako wonders if this cat will talk too. The others say it depends. If raised with care, a kitten doesn't need to talk. A simple meow is enough. Over time, the kitten settles. Just as they prepare food and litter, Rin arrives to have Gray fill out paperwork. Thinking the kitten is asleep, Tamako unlocks the isolation room. But the kitten was waiting for a chance to escape, and bolts out instantly. Rin, a total cat lover, can't help herself, and scoops the kitten into her arms. Miraculously, it becomes docile in her hold. Let me adopt him! In the end, she takes the kitten home, spoiling it rotten, even taking time off work to stay with it. After the kitten leaves, the shop gets another troublesome customer, giving Tamako a headache. It's her former bosses. When they order, Tamako wishes she could vanish, but they spot her. Seeing her working there, they assume she owns the ramen shop, and accuse her of exploiting cats for labor, calling her shameless. Gray steps in, telling them not to harass the staff. When they learn the cats are the real bosses, they mock Tamako even harder. Aren't you ashamed, working for animals? Hannah is furious, urging her to yell at these idiots. Tamako finally snaps. You're worse than animals. You're the scum of the scum. As her ex-bosses rage, other customers can't take it anymore, and tell them to get lost. Bunzo says, this shop also has the right to refuse service. Look down on us? Too bad. Then get out. Under the pressure of public anger, the former bosses had no choice but to slink away in shame. Before Tamako could apologize, Hannah stepped in with a peace offering, knocking 100 yen off every dish on the menu. The tension instantly melted away. When Tamako returned to work on the next day, the team surprised her with news. She was officially hired. Looking forward to working with you. Over time, Tamako realized she'd grown fond of the cats. Their daily interactions finally made her feel the warmth of this workplace, and she decided to take her job here seriously. And so, Season 1 comes to an end. I highly recommend this anime. The voice actors did an absolutely adorable job bringing each cat's unique personality to life. With its well-paced storytelling and relaxing plot free of intense drama, this series offers the perfect soothing experience. If you're looking for a heartwarming anime that's gentle on your emotions without being overly dramatic, this is the perfect choice. I'm already counting down the days until Season 2. Today I'm going to talk about a heartwarming food anime. Kohei comes home from work and finds his food-loving daughter Tsumuji glued to a cooking show, completely mesmerized. Suddenly she says, Dad, write to Mom and ask her to make this for us. Hearing this, Kohei can no longer hold back his emotions. He picks up Tsumuji and rushes to a restaurant, determined to give her a proper meal, because her mother will never come back. Kohei is a math teacher. After his wife's passing, he takes on the responsibility of raising Tsumuji alone. Since he can't cook, he believes good ingredients only need simple preparation. Every morning, he microwaves frozen meals, packs them into lunchboxes, and scrambles to tidy up before dropping Tsumuji at kindergarten and rushing to work. He often comes home late. While he focuses on grading papers, Tsumuji quietly watches TV. Seeing how mature she's had to become, Kohei decides to take her to the park to see the cherry blossoms. After finishing chores, they head out. The park is beautiful, full of blooming sakura, but under a tree, a girl sits alone, crying as she eats her lunch. Tsumuji approaches and learns the girl, Kotori, was supposed to enjoy the flowers with her mom but got stood up. Though upset at first, the delicious homemade meal makes her realize her mother's efforts, bringing her to tears. Tsumuji asks, "Is it really that good?" Kotori insists it is, but sadly it's all gone. She hands them a business card for her family's restaurant. Back home, Kohei asks if his meals taste good. Tsumuji just says, "They're okay," leaving him frustrated, though she sweetly reassures him, like a little angel. The next day, he returns to find Tsumuji practically drooling over the cooking show again, even suggesting, "Let's write to mom and ask her to cook for us." This breaks Kohei completely. He carries her out, determined to treat her to a good meal. At Kotori's family restaurant, her mom isn't there, but Kotori offers to cook clay pot rice herself. Excited, Tsumuji sits down. Kohei overhears Kotori calling her mom to ask about the water ratio, then adding a splash of sake for flavor. Worried about alcohol, Kohei is reassured it evaporates when cooked. He then realizes Kotori is his student. As the rice cooks, Tsumuji dozes off. The rising steam reminds Kohei of his late wife. When the timer rings, Kotori serves the fluffy, fragrant rice. Tsumuji takes one bite and exclaims, "So delicious!" Seeing her enjoy plain rice so much, Kohei tears up, realizing how much he's failed her. Kotori then suggests they eat together more often from now on. Kohei initially wants to decline, but his daughter Tsumuji immediately agrees. The next day at school, Kohei asks his coworker about Kotori. The coworker tells him Kotori's parents divorced when she was young. Her mother runs a restaurant, while also working as a food researcher. The coworker suggests Kohei meet Kotori's mother first to talk things over. After work, Kohei returns home, and Tsumuji shows him a drawing she made at school. It has her, Kohei, and Kotori. She really likes it there. Tsumuji says Kohei always looks so happy when he's there, and the food is delicious. That's why she loves it. To fulfill Tsumuji's wish, Kohei approaches Kotori on the third day. He says he'd like to meet her mother to discuss cooking together. Kotori is thrilled and quickly says her mother is free that evening. She invites Kohei to bring Tsumuji along. After school, Kohei picks up Tsumuji and heads to the restaurant. But as soon as they open the door, Kotori apologizes. Her mother is out for work. Kohei considers leaving, but Kotori has already prepared the ingredients, and Tsumuji puts on an apron, giving him a pleading look. There's no choice but to stay. Kotori then brings out her mother's recipe book. It has detailed steps and cute illustrations. Kohei worries they're making too much food, but Kotori has already cooked the rice. Next is pork miso soup. They just need to chop some vegetables. Kohei stares at the veggies, unsure where to start. Kotori assigns him the cutting task, but he's clumsy. Even a carrot goes flying. He asks Kotori for help, but she's even more of a beginner. She's too scared to touch the knife and only knows how to season food. No choice. Kohei tears the ingredients by hand. He tells Kotori he wants to make tasty meals for Tsumuji, and Kotori doesn't want to close the restaurant just because her mother is away. Their goals align. Kotori then brings out a vegetable cutter. It makes the shapes nicer. They add hot water to the pot to let the flavors soak in. When it's ready, all that's left is seasoning. Kotori carefully adjusts the taste, tasting it several times until it's perfect. Kohei tries it and exclaims, "Amazing!" Soon, everyone has a bowl of rice and soup. The aroma fills the room. Tsumuji takes a careful bite. It's delicious. After dinner, Kohei checks the time and prepares to take Tsumuji home for bed. Kotori suddenly feels lonely, but when she hears they'll come back to cook with her again, she's deeply moved and bows to Kohei. The next morning, Kotori wakes up to find her mother has left her a meal. There's also a note telling her to watch a live TV show. When she turns it on, she sees her mother on a cooking program, saying she'll do her best to win. Meanwhile, Kohei tries making breakfast for Tsumuji. It's not perfect, but Tsumuji eats it happily and even helps wash the dishes. At kindergarten, Tsumuji uses clay to make a hamburger steak for her dad, but she still needs to make the plate and chopsticks. A classmate nearby generously gives her his own clay. But just as Tsumuji is about to take her creation home, a bratty kid nearby falsely accuses her. saying she stole someone else's clay, calling her a thief. Kohei gets a call from Tsumuji's teacher, saying his daughter got into a fight. When he arrives at school, he sees Tsumuji has shut down in anger. The brat's mother also shows up. After learning her son threw the first punch, she immediately makes him apologize to Tsumuji, but Tsumuji refuses to accept it, so Kohei takes her home first. Then, gently, he asks what really happened. Only then does Tsumuji open up, telling her dad she didn't steal the clay and isn't a thief. Kohei promises to take her to buy more clay and return it to the classmate, because even if it's a misunderstanding, he doesn't want Tsumuji to be called a thief. Tsumuji cries her heart out in frustration. The next day, they visit Kotori's place again. Kotori cheerfully says she's making hamburger steaks today, but Tsumuji still looks upset. Kohei explains to Kotori that even though they've made up with the other kid, Tsumuji isn't fully cheered up yet, so he wants to make hamburger steaks to lift her spirits. First, they soak breadcrumbs in milk, then mix the ground meat with other ingredients. Kohei tries to get Tsumuji involved, but she's still in a bad mood. He starts to get a little impatient, but Kotori advises him to stay calm. After comforting Tsumuji for a while, "Daddy loves you the most, okay?" She finally joins in. The three of them shape the patties together, fry them in a pan, then make a sauce with tomatoes and soy sauce. They add the patties to the sauce, top it with a soft boiled egg, and the dish looks absolutely amazing. When Tsumuji takes a bite of the hamburger steak she made with her dad, all her pent-up emotions burst out in tears. Kohei quickly hugs her and comforts her. After the meal, Tsumuji finally tells them she used so much clay because she wanted to make a birthday gift for her dad. Only then does Kohei realize today really is his birthday. His daughter is truly thoughtful. On a day off, Kotori is walking around town when she suddenly sees Tsumuji being led away by a strange guy with blonde hair. She tries to call Kohei immediately, but her phone is dead, so she quietly follows them and finds they've stopped at a park bench. The guy lights a cigarette and asks Tsumuji if she wants one too. Kotori yells, "No way!" Just then, Kohei finally arrives at the park. Kotori urgently points at the blonde guy, calling him a kidnapper who is trying to make a kid smoke. The guy doesn't even explain, just unwraps a chocolate bar and starts eating. Kohei then tells Kotori the guy is Yusuke, his best friend. He only asks Yusuke to babysit when he's really tied up. Kotori suddenly suggests making donuts for Tsumuji. Tsumuji brightens up at the idea. The next day, Kohei brings Tsumuji to Kotori's shop. Kotori has all the ingredients ready, divided into 2 batches. She mixes batch A in a bowl first, then heats batch B over water. Finally, she combines both, adds butter, and kneads the dough on a board. This step takes a while, so they take turns. Tsumuji goes first, pouring all her energy into it, pressing the dough. After kneading until it forms a thin membrane, wrap the dough and let it rise fully. While waiting, Kohei helps with cleaning, and Tsumuji excitedly shows Kotori some photo booth pictures, telling her how Yusuke took her to the arcade. Kotori worries Yusuke might be a bad influence, but Kohei just laughs and says it's fine for Yusuke to take her out sometimes. He admits he's just an ordinary, boring guy who doesn't know how to entertain kids. Kotori replies that being ordinary is perfectly fine. By then, the dough has risen. They divide it into small portions and poke a hole in the center with their fingers. Tsumuji tries to help, but her hole ends up tiny. While waiting for the dough to rise again, Kotori suggests going to take more photo booth pictures with Tsumuji. Kohei has no idea how the machine works, so Tsumuji handles everything. When they return to the shop, it's time to fry the donuts. Once the oil reaches its hottest point, Kohei drops them in, but the oil is too hot, and they burn instantly when flipped. Cutting one open reveals the inside is still raw. They're completely inedible. After carefully adjusting the oil temperature, they try again. This time, it works. The donuts turn golden and crispy, drizzled with honey and chocolate. They look amazing. One bite fills the mouth with rich flavor, and Tsumuji's face lights up with joy. All 3 of them can't stop praising them. Then Tsumuji picks up the one she made. Sure enough, the tiny hole has closed up. The little girl happily says she's made another sweet memory of eating with her dad. Later, as Kohei and Tsumuji are cleaning up, Kotori's friend Shinobu suddenly drops by, leaving Kotori stunned. Luckily, Tsumuji is a social butterfly and quickly explains everything. After hearing the story, Shinobu wants to join in and cook a meal together, just like a party. They set the date for the following weekend. Tsumuji is thrilled at the idea of a party and immediately makes a stack of invitations to invite her kindergarten friends. Kohei stops her though, explaining that guests shouldn't invite others. since it would trouble Kotori, that's the rule. But remembering the lively gatherings, when his wife was still alive, he tells Smuji she can instead invite friends over to their own home. Hearing she gets to have 2 parties, the little girl is overjoyed. On the day of the party, Smuji hands Kotori an invitation. Shinobu gets one too, and both thank her warmly. Then Yusuke shows up with his own invitation. Smuji had given him one earlier. Since he's already here, they put him to work. Yusuke's knife skills are impressively sharp, and Shinobu keeps up effortlessly. Their cooking leaves the beginners in awe. Kotori mixes the filling, kneading the meat and adding drained vegetables. Once it's ready, they start wrapping dumplings. First, they roll the dough into a long rope, then cut it into small pieces. After dusting with flour, they roll each piece into a thin, even circle, add filling, and pinch the edges shut. Working in teams, one rolls wrappers, the other fills. They make quick progress. To identify Smuji's dumplings, they add little bows to them. Adorable. Soon, the table is covered in dumplings. Shinobu calls her outside and asks if she really likes that father-daughter pair. Kotori admits it right away but says she likes Shinobu just as much. Shinobu is delighted to hear that. When they go back inside, they find Yusuke cooking. Shinobu quickly pushes him out, telling him not to ruin the cozy father-daughter moment. Just then, the pan-fried dumplings are ready. Shinobu wraps ingot-shaped dumplings to boil, while Yusuke uses the chicken wings he brought to make chicken wing dumplings. Once all the dishes are ready, the delicious dumpling party begins. The pan-fried dumplings are crispy and juicy, the boiled ones are chewy and smooth, and the chicken dumplings are hearty and filling. Watching this heartwarming scene, Kotori thanks Shinobu sincerely, hoping they can cook together again. But Shinobu gently declines. She wants to give her best friend a chance, and lets Kotori enjoy her time with the father and daughter. However, after returning home, Kohei collapses from exhaustion. Too weak to play with his daughter, he lets Smuji watch TV alone in the living room. Seeing the brave magical girl on TV saving the world, Smuji gathers her courage. She wants to save her dad too. She stuffs her magical girl doll into her backpack, arms herself, and steps out the door. Following the white lines on the road, she walks and sings nursery rhymes, imagining the street as an ocean full of fierce sharks. She shouts, "Shark! Shark!" and charms everyone passing by. But soon she stops. The straight path ends. A kind stranger helps her cross the sea, and Smuji continues her journey. She sees a plane in the sky and calls it a pterodactyl, then navigates through a maze-like tunnel, and reaches a busy street, almost getting hit. After a grand adventure, she finally reaches Kotori's shop. Excited, she tries to open the door, but it's locked. No one answers when she calls Kotori's name. The little girl's eyes well up with tears. Just then, Kotori finally hears her. Smuji holds back her tears. Meanwhile, Kohei wakes up and panics when he finds his daughter missing. Hearing that Kohei-sensei has a high fever, Kotori quickly packs medicine and sports drinks for Smuji. "Smuji didn't cry. Am I brave?" Kotori praises her and gives her a can of peach compote, saying it's the best for colds. Then, she takes Smuji home. Unbeknownst to them, Kohei is frantic searching for her. When he sees Smuji, he yells, "Don't run off alone!" Smuji bursts into tears, too upset to be comforted. Kotori explains, "She went out to get medicine for you." But Smuji is too angry to go home with her dad. Kotori takes them back to her shop, planning to cook something tasty to reconcile them. Kohei talks to his daughter properly, apologizing for shouting. He explains how scared he was when she disappeared, and makes her promise never to wander off alone again. When Smuji agrees, the tension between them melts away. Kotori watches, relieved, but she's so absorbed that the rice has burned at the bottom of the pot. Thinking quickly, she changes her plan. She crushes some walnuts, mixes them with white sesame seeds, then adds miso and sugar to make a sauce. Next, she mashes the unburned rice into mochi, wraps it around chopsticks, and all 3 of them grill it over the gas stove. Once the sauce caramelizes, the Kohei rice cakes are done. The crispy first bite instantly wins Smuji over, melting away her earlier frustration. On the 3rd day, Kohei takes the morning off to attend Smuji's parent-child event at kindergarten. He notices the other moms sharing tips on making new bags for their kids, replaced every year. Glancing at Smuji's worn-out bag with a stubborn stain, he feels a pang of guilt. After the event, Smuji tells him the class troublemaker promised to marry her when they grow up. Kohei beams, then seizes the chance to ask if she wants a new bag, since all the girls have fresh ones and hers is stained. But she refuses. Mom's bag is fine. Her maturity tugs at his heart, so he promises to grant her a wish, to cook one of her mom's dishes. Smuji requests squid and taro stew. The next day, Kohei asks Kotori for help. Worried she can't replicate the taste, Kotori decides to consult her mom. On cooking day, Kohei preps the ingredients, cutting the squid, removing the beaks, blanching it, then peeling the slippery taro. When one slips from his grip, Kotori flinches, thinking he cut himself. Her fear of knives pains her, but with encouragement, they finish prepping. The stew turns out perfect, with a flavor eerily close to Tsumuji's mom's. After dinner, walking home, Kohei gets an idea for the bag. The next day, Tsumuji proudly shows off her bag patched with a cute apple design, a joint gift from her parents. Finally, the kindergarten sleepover arrives. Watching Tsumuji play happily, Kohei waves goodbye, reassured. Back home, the silence feels heavy. He hugs her favorite stuffed pig, worrying if she'll sleep well, unaware she's sound asleep while the troublemaker cries for his mom. When Tsumuji returns, Kohei finds his late wife's recipe notes, and decides to make her homemade curry. When Tsumuji hears it's the curry her mom used to make, she immediately wants to eat it right away. So Kohei takes her to the shop, where Kotori has already prepared the ingredients. Now they just need to chop the vegetables. Tsumuji suddenly asks to help. Kohei refuses at first, but seeing her unhappy face, he lets her join in. He guides her hands to cut the carrots, and the little girl gets really nervous. When cooking, they first saute the garlic and ginger for aroma, then add onions, carrots, celery, and eggplant. Next, they mix in curry powder, salt, and ketchup. After bringing it to a boil, they add apples, raisins, and bell peppers. Kohei suddenly remembers Tsumuji dislikes bell peppers, but she says it's fine. The curry flavor will cover everything anyway. The last step is adding chili, but they can set aside a portion for kids before that. What a thoughtful mom. Once it's ready, Tsumuji takes a bite of the curry rice. It's exactly her mom's taste. She can't stop eating. Kotori tries it too, and is surprised how sweet the raisins make it. Kohei looks at the curry, and remembers how his wife used to tear up while chopping onions, then put on his glasses and get dizzy. Both father and daughter laugh at the memory. On their way home, Tsumuji asks why Kohei laughed earlier. He tells her about her mom getting dizzy with his glasses, and Tsumuji realizes they were thinking of the same thing. She talks happily about it, but then suddenly feels sad. She's still a child. How could she not miss her mom? A few days later, the school festival is coming up. Kotori's class plans a food stall, and since her mom is a cooking expert, her classmates suggest she develop a crepe recipe. Kotori is usually shy, but when it comes to food, ideas flow easily, so the crepe project is settled. Kohei thinks Tsumuji has never tried crepes, so he arranges a tasting session with Kotori on the weekend. Excited, he tells Tsumuji the news, but the little foodie isn't happy. Turns out, her kindergarten play is also coming up. Tsumuji and her best friend argue over roles. Both want to be the lead, but Tsumuji insists on playing Pink Pig. Their friendship hits a rough patch. Back home, Tsumuji stays upset. Kohei visits the kindergarten to ask the teacher to let her play Pink Pig and reconcile with her friend. The friend agrees, but later ignores Tsumuji again. Seeing her still unhappy, Kohei tries to ask what's wrong, but Tsumuji hides it to avoid worrying him. The next day, Kohei takes her to the shop. Seeing everyone there cheers her up. To make her happier, he decides to make crepes. First, he melts butter in a pan, lets it cool, then adds flour, sugar, and eggs. After mixing, they wait an hour. Yusuke asks if Tsumuji has ever had crepes. She hasn't, but she's drawn them in her notebook. Because Kohei keeps talking about them, Tsumuji happily, cutting sweet potatoes with Kohei. Though Tsumuji only manages 2 slices before getting tired, she pays close attention to every step that follows. After soaking the sweet potatoes, they microwave them, mash them with milk, then wrap the mixture in dough. And just like that, the sweet potato crepes are done. Tsumuji takes a bite. The sweet potatoes paired with cream are absolutely delicious. Seeing how Kotori wins everyone's approval by sharing her favorite food, Tsumuji suddenly feels a little sad, because she can't share her own favorite with her best friend. But then Kohei surprises her with a pink piggy costume he prepared, and her face lights up with joy. He also tells her, sometimes things just don't go smoothly, and it's not about right or wrong, but if you keep trying your best, you might just win them over. The next morning, Tsumuji brings the costume to kindergarten. When her friend still ignores her, she changes into the pink piggy outfit on the spot. It's so adorable that her friend instantly makes up with her, and Tsumuji becomes the center of attention in class. Seeing this, Kohei finally relaxes. On Parents' Day, Tsumuji gives her all in the performance, and it's a huge success. Kohei records the precious moment, thinking his daughter is the cutest in the world. Meanwhile, Kotori's crepes are a hit at the school festival, a happy ending for everyone. After the festival, it's the one-year anniversary of Tsumuji's mother's passing. Kohei takes her to visit her grave, and by the time they head home, it's already dark. Too tired to cook, Kohei decides to take Tsumuji out for dinner. Walking down the street, Tsumuji catches a whiff of something delicious, and asks Kohei what kind of restaurant it is. He says it's okonomiyaki, cooked sizzling on a griddle. Tsumuji is excited, but when the food arrives already prepared, she feels tricked and angrily sprinkles a handful of green seaweed on top, only to accidentally dump the whole container. Kohei exclaims, "This is all your fault." Tsumuji bursts into tears, and no matter how he tries to comfort her, she refuses to eat much before they leave. The next day, when Kohei drops her off at kindergarten, Tsumuji still seems down. During break, Kohei tells Kotori about what happened, and she suggests making okonomiyaki again. Maybe it'll cheer Tsumuji up. After picking her up, Kohei takes her to the restaurant, where Tsumuji spots Shinobu and happily runs to her. Kotori, however, is in a bad mood, because her mom is working late again. Soon Yusuke joins them, and the okonomiyaki party begins. Everyone pitches in, mixing dashi broth with flour, while Kohei chops cabbage. His skills have clearly improved, though he's still no match for Yusuke. Kotori complains, "My mom always cancels on me. It's like she doesn't care." Kohei reassures her, "She does care. She's just busy. When you're in a rush, things slip your mind." He knows exactly how that feels. Meanwhile, Tsumuji starts acting up, and accidentally kicks over the vegetable bowl. This time, Kohei catches her in time, and makes her apologize. "Tsumuji, do you hate being scolded?" "Well, Dad hates scolding you too." He gently reminds her that if she does something wrong, he'll always correct her. But yesterday at the okonomiyaki place, Kohei didn't correct himself earlier, so he made the same mistake too. Hearing this, Tsumuji takes the chance to apologize to her dad. With everyone working together, the okonomiyaki is finally ready. The savory aroma fills the air. They drizzle it with plenty of sauce, and cut it open with a spatula. It looks absolutely mouth-watering. Just then, Kotori's mom arrives home from work. Kohei quickly greets her, and they exchange pleasantries for a while, thanking each other for looking after their families. Then the okonomiyaki feast begins. Everyone digs into the freshly made dish, and it tastes incredible. Tsumuji thinks it's way better than the ones from restaurants. Kotori's mom tells her it's because it's packed with her dad's love. The room falls awkwardly silent. Classic Kotori's mom, saying it with a straight face. Though it's embarrassing, Tsumuji firmly believes it. She feels that eating food made with love helps her grow stronger. In this touching anime about food and family, every meal is more than just sustenance. It's a ritual of love, healing, and connection. Kohei, a grieving father with no culinary skills, struggles to raise his young daughter Tsumuji alone after his wife's passing. His microwave meals and clumsy attempts at cooking reflect his love, however imperfect. Meanwhile, Tsumuji, wise beyond her years, clings to the faintest memories of her mother's flavors, proving that food is the language of longing. Then comes Kotori, a kind but lonely student who finds solace in cooking for them. Together, they form an unlikely family, one built not by blood, but by shared meals and shared hearts. Food is the simplest magic. It mends loneliness, bridges gaps, and turns strangers into irreplaceable companions. Life, like cooking, is messy. People leave, hearts break. Yet, as long as there's a table to gather around, there's warmth, hope, and a reason to keep going. Kohei learns this truth, that love doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be real. Even a humble bowl of curry, made with clumsy hands but a full heart, can become a cherished memory. May we all find comfort in life's simple flavors. If you'd like more heartwarming anime recommendations to soothe your soul, hit that subscribe button and we can keep discovering healing stories together.